Thinking about stepping away from the bedside and into leadership can be really intimidating, and wondering if you're ready is completely normal. However, there are some clear signs that you shouldn't ignore. I'm Jared, a nurse leader for over a decade, and today I'm going to break down the 5 signs that tell you that you are probably ready for that next step. Let's start with something that every future leader experiences before they get a title, and that's that people already come to you for guidance. Maybe they ask you clinical questions, or ask you to help them deal with relationships or the organizational challenges in your hospital. Either way, people see you as a fixer and somebody who can solve problems or at least help them think through it. And that matters because it means that you are trustworthy, you're approachable, and you have influence. And all of those things are good qualities for a leader, but they don't show up magically when you get a title. So the fact that you're showing up this way now is a really good indicator that you are beginning to be ready for leadership. So if nurses are already coming to you for guidance, then that's great. But influence is not just about helping people in the moment. It is about how you communicate your ideas. The second sign is that when you make a suggestion to leadership, you're not laughed off the stage. Higher ups actually listen to you, they may ask follow-up questions, and generally take your ideas seriously. And I want to make something really clear here. Even if you don't think your current leadership is all that effective, they still have a broader perspective and more experience than you, and it gives them kind of a filter. So when someone in a leadership role takes interest in your ideas, that gives you 2 really important pieces of data. Number 1, their elevated perspective is sort of validating your instincts. And if your ideas are holding up under that lens, it's a good sign that you're starting to think like a leader. Second, it reflects how well you're communicating your ideas upward. And that's super important because, of course, leadership isn't just about having good ideas. It's about communicating them in a way that other leaders can get behind. So this sign really highlights your instincts and your communication skills, which are some of the most important sort of intangibles of leadership aptitude. But of course, leadership isn't all about persuasion. It's also about taking initiative and engaging with the broader systems that shape care. Now, the third sign is that you're already involved in work outside of your regular patient assignment. Maybe you serve on committees or you've led projects. Ideally, you have a whole track record you can point to of initiatives that have improved care or efficiency. This tells me 3 things about you. Number 1, that you care about the bigger picture of care delivery. Number 2, that you take initiative. You're engaged in things beyond your job description. And finally, you're already leading. You're motivating people, you're organizing groups, you're getting work done. And honestly, the strongest evidence that someone's ready to lead is that they're already doing it. And so this is a great example of that. But of course, getting things done is only one part of leadership. Another big part is appreciating the nuances that go into organizational decision making. So that leads us to the 4th sign. You are curious about the why behind decisions. And an example of this is like if something comes down from your manager that you don't understand, your first response isn't to complain, but to engage in dialogue, to ask questions, find out the rationale behind the decision because you're genuinely curious. Because this is the truth. And you already know this, right? Organizational decisions are not made based on what makes the most sense clinically. They're often made because of internal politics, financial pressures, broader business strategies. And when you are already curious about those things now, it's going to serve you well and prepare you for a time when you're in leadership, and that becomes really front and center. That's a great indicator that you are beginning to be ready for leadership when you're starting to think about the reasons behind decisions instead of just being upset when they don't go your way. Now, understanding the nuances within the system is of course one thing, but if you're stepping into a whole new role in that system, it's going to require a completely different mindset. And that's what our 5th and final sign is. And it's probably the most important really, because by this point in your career, you're used to knowing what you're doing, right? You've got some confidence in your skills. You have a sense of identity and seniority on your team. But when you move into leadership, all of that changes. And that's because leadership is not a natural extension of clinical expertise. It's really more like a whole new practice specialty that you're moving into. So that means you got to be willing to start over. You're going to be a beginner again, and you're going to need to learn completely new skills that maybe you've never had any exposure to. So if you find yourself maybe a little bored, you're craving a challenge, and you're willing to grow as a person, not just as a clinician, then you might actually be ready for leadership. If some of these signs resonated with you, it might be time to start taking real steps toward leadership. And to help you with that, I've put together a free reading list for new nurse leaders. You can pick it up with the link in the description. These are the books that have helped me the most in developing as a leader, and I want to share them with you. So before you go, please drop a comment and let us know which of these signs spoke the most to you. And if you want more tools, strategies, and encouragement to help you become a more confident, authentic nurse leader, make sure to subscribe because we have a lot more coming your way.